Hello, my name is Sarah Dupper, and I carried out my practicum hours for EDST 3000 at Cary Junior High School in Cheyenne in the 8th grade English department. In the lesson I have videotaped, students were asked to brainstorm ideas for factors that influenced a character's identity in a novel they had just finished, John Steinbeck's The Pearl. After coming up with a list as a class, students were given an organizer sheet to fill out with the instructor, which included space to write an introduction, 3 topic sentences, 3 pieces of evidence, and a conclusion. This lesson was taught as a lecture using Madeline Hunter's direct instruction model because it was deemed the most efficient method for the activity being done and the most useful for the information being taught. In the provided clip of instruction, I am walking students through the introduction and topic sentences on the organizer and going over a concept they'd already learned, finding and citing textual evidence and the difference between quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing information. Classroom management techniques used include being in close proximity to disruptive students, reminders to stay on task, and reminders of class expectations such as not talking during instruction and refraining from distracting others. One issue I did run into with the lesson was the fact that students cannot check out copies of the Pearl to take home, so assigning whatever didn't get done on the organizer as homework doesn't work for the evidence portion of the organizer, since students must reference exact page numbers and they need the books to do that. If I were to redo this lesson, I would likely give more time for that portion.
Way of life, that makes more sense. And what about his way of life?
How he lives, like his house is like dressed up where he eats and stuff.
What he does for a living? Okay.
His background, his text always goes back to his dad for his ancestry.
Okay. So his heritage. Okay. What about in his community? What kind of forces?
The way people treat him.
The way people treat him, right? Right. So do you mean his neighbors, or do you mean people in the town?
Neighbors.
Just everyone.
Okay.
So
Is there stuff in the town that influences this though?
yeah.
Yeah. What do you got?
Well, he's by the ocean, so he's like an ocean or something.
Okay. By the ocean.
What about the doctor?
The doctor? Okay. What about the doctor?
Saved his life.
So how did the doctor treat him?
Treated him kind of badly at first until he realized, oh, he has the real pearl.
Right. And we kind of see that that's not like an uncommon thing that keeps happening to, in other people in this community, right? So what can we call that?
Rude.
Rude, yes. But this is more than just a couple, rude statements. This has been going on a while.
It's pretty much
bullying.
Okay. Even bigger than that, maybe oppression.
Hate crime.
It goes bigger than that. Yeah.
Is it like religious persecution?
That's part of it. Yeah.
Where you hate them for what their religion is.
Persecution.
Oppression. This is stuff you should know.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. So, So when you're drafting this paper,
Beautiful thing, though.
how we're going to start is you're going to look at all those factors, and you need to pick 3 that you know you can write about. So 3 that are interesting to you, that you think really impact Kino's identity, that you know you can find evidence for. So
Goodness gracious. Grab that. Keep dropping them. Okay. Kind of already filled this out for the last class, but we know we're going to start with an introduction, right? So right now, because we're not really drafting the paper so much as just getting information down that we can build off of later, right? This can be pretty basic. So the three that I picked just for this example were family, poverty, and community. You're free to choose that. You sure? Oh, I thought you had a question. Yeah, so because right now this can be pretty basic and we're just trying to build this up so we can start drafting, I just put down a pretty basic thesis. So 3 things that impact Keno's identity are blank, blank, blank. That introduces the topic, that gives your examples, and it works as a thesis statement. So you're free to use that for right now. You can go back and make it your own later, or not. It's up to you. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, so do you all have an introduction now?
What?
Okay. Whatever you don't finish on this is homework, so
What?
I would fill it out while we go. So
Well, we have like 45 minutes. Where am I?
Well, then
We
hopefully
have
get it
18
done.
minutes left of class, right?
We have 18 minutes left.
Oh, great.
Wait, no, that's 28 minutes. I thought it said 49.
Get my pencil gone.
So yeah, just keep filling this out with me as we go so that you don't have to do as much homework.
Okay,
I lost my pencil.
people over here are very good.
Which part?
So, it's going to put a sentence that introduces those
What?
things. So all I have is 3 things that will put this Keno's identity. Just fill it right now.
Wait, so we choose our own 3, right? 'Cause
Yes, yeah. We have that big list over there. You can pick anything.
honestly,
You can even break some of those down, like family. You could break down into fauna, Keto, and Pro, right? As long as you can find evidence. Okay.
at our sentence, what do we start? Is it because I was saying?
No, you're good. What's up?
Like, if I choose a pro for the first one, what would it write down?
So, do you have an introduction? Okay, so let's get that down first.
I get a drink.
Wait, are we supposed to do this now?
Just be quick.
Okay.
We're supposed to be doing all this now?
We're gonna go through it together.
Oh, okay.
What's up?
Can you come here for a second?
Yeah. Okay. So for introduction, you just need a sentence that introduces all 3 things and ties back to the pro. So I put down these 3 things that impact people's identity are. And that works as a thesis statement.
So like, so these are the 3 reasons, and then impact is Keno's identity.
Yeah.
Because
You don't necessarily need to type it.
No, I'm sorry. Have it.
Alright.
did we do like the photo ones?
Yeah, anything from that list we got, if you think of something else that you know you can find evidence for. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna move on.
Wait, are you gonna explain those 3?
Yes, yeah, so we're moving on to topic sentences, which is these 3 bubbles. So I just kind of put like 3 topics at the top, so I know, what order I want to go in. Yeah, so we're on 3 circles now. Everybody with me? Yeah. Okay, cool. So these can also be pretty basic, just like the thesis. The starter sentence I just kind of put down is Keno's family impacts his identity greatly, and then down here is where it'll go into the because, but that's how you'll start it out. Oh, that's one way you can start it out, I guess. And it just kind of carries through.
like 2 minutes, I guess, and jot those down. Are there any questions on that?
Should we write down what we think, how we think it influences him?
You can. That can also go into on your own. We're going to cover that next.
But I don't know. What?
Take like 30 more seconds and wrap those up.
Wait, so just write main ideas.
Basically, yeah. Just however you would introduce each of those ideas in a paragraph. Okay. You good to move on?
Yeah.
Yeah? So this is where most of the content is probably going to be in your papers. What? It's with this supporting details boxes, right? So the 3 things you're going to do with that evidence that you find is you're going to introduce it. Because you don't just want to start a paragraph with like a quote. You need to say, Tina's family impacts identity greatly because it's what drives him to self-referral, right? And then after I've said that, then I can bring in my evidence for, here's all the ideas he had for the girl. Here's what he wanted for his family. Does that make sense?
As you can see from the video, the biggest area of my teaching that needs improvement is classroom management. Because I was facing the board or the document camera for much of the lesson, I was not as observant as I should have been of disruptive behavior. I had been informed ahead of time that this group of students was considered a, quote, problem class by my mentor teacher, and knowing this, I should have made more of an effort to curb talking while I was giving instruction and distracting behaviors such as the whistling heard around 9 minutes into this video. Later in the lesson, I did end up reminding the class that Mrs. Allen's expectations for them did not change just because I was running class, but it likely would have been more effective for me to state that at the beginning of class to set the tone of the lesson right away. Another thing I personally noted about the lesson was that I need to approach instruction with more confidence. My voice is not very loud on the recording, and it makes me wonder if students towards the back of the room could hear me clearly. There are also instances where I can personally tell that I froze up slightly because I was unsure of how to handle something that a student said or did. I realize that this skill is one that comes with more practice, but it's never too early to consider ways of improving. Overall, I do think the lesson and practicum as a whole went well, considering some turbulent events that occurred at the school during April. I feel I now have a better understanding of myself as a teacher and the areas in which I need to find better techniques to use.